Serendipity in a small town. Anita stepped into her favorite coffee shop, the familiar scent of roasted beans enveloping her as she settled into her favorite window seat. She loved the view of the intersection, the bustling life of her hometown unfolding before her. People walked by, lost in their own worlds, and she found joy in observing them. Just like old times, she murmured to herself, sipping her cappuccino. Unbeknownst to her, a man sat across the room, his gaze fixed on her. He watched as she smiled at the passing strangers, lost in thought. After a moment, he stood up and approached her table. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, a friendly smile on his face. Anita looked up, surprised but intrigued. "Sure, I'd love the company." "I'm Jake," he said, settling into the chair across from her. "You're back in town?" "Yeah, just moved back after 5 years abroad," she replied, her curiosity piqued. "What about you?" "I've lived here my whole life," he said, leaning in slightly. "Always fascinating to see familiar faces again. What made you come back?" "I missed this place," she said, glancing out at the street. "And my family. I wanted a change." "Change is good. I used to work in the city, but there's something special about the small town vibe," he mused. "I've had my share of jobs, too corporate, freelance. It all felt unfulfilling, you know." Anita nodded, feeling a connection. "I get that. I worked in marketing, but it never felt like home. I wanted to do something meaningful." Their conversation flowed easily, touching on everything from work to travel, and they both found themselves laughing at shared experiences. Hours slipped away unnoticed, the coffee shop bustling around them as they lost themselves in dialogue. "Wow, has it really been 5 hours?" Jake exclaimed, glancing at the clock. "I guess time flies when you're having fun," Anita said, a hint of regret in her voice. "I should get going." "Yeah, me too," he said, standing up. "It was really great talking to you, Anita." "Same here," she replied, feeling an unexpected spark. "I hope we run into each other again." "Me too. It's a small town after all," he smiled before walking away. As she left, Anita felt a flutter of excitement. She wasn't worried about losing touch. She was sure they would bump into each other again. 3 days passed, and she didn't see Jake anywhere. Each time she went out, she found herself looking around, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. Finally, she decided to visit the church, hoping for a moment of clarity. As she stood in front of the altar, she closed her eyes and prayed, "Please let me see him again. If it's meant to be, I'd really like to get to know him better." Just as she opened her eyes, she caught sight of a figure in white at the front of the church. Her heart raced as she recognized Jake, now wearing a priest's collar and leading the service. "No way," she whispered to herself, stunned. The man she hoped to connect with was a priest. After the mass, people began to disperse. Jake noticed her and approached, his expression a mix of surprise and warmth. "Anita, I didn't expect to see you here," he said, his voice gentle. "Me neither. You're a priest?" she asked, still trying to process this revelation. "Yeah, I've been doing this for a while now," he said, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "It's fulfilling, but I miss conversations like the one we had." "Same here," Anita replied, her heart pounding. "I never expected to meet someone like you again, especially like this." "I guess it was meant to be, huh?" he said, tilting his head slightly. "Definitely," she smiled back, feeling a warmth spread through her. "Maybe we could talk again, just without the collar." Jake chuckled softly. "I'd like that. Let's find a time." As they exchanged glances, Anita felt a sense of hope and excitement. In a town small enough for chance encounters, perhaps fate had a plan for them, after all. 3 years passed since Anita and Jake first met at the coffee shop. They became good friends, often meeting to catch up over coffee or stroll through the town's quaint streets. Their conversations deepened, and despite the collar, Anita found herself drawn to Jake's warmth and kindness. As their friendship blossomed, Jake introduced her to his circle of friends, one of whom was Mark. Mark was outgoing, funny, and completely charming. Anita found herself enjoying his company more and more. Over time, her friendship with Mark turned into something deeper. They began dating, and soon enough, it was clear that they were meant to be together. Jake was thrilled for them. "You two are perfect for each other," he said, a genuine smile on his face. On their wedding day, the church was filled with friends and family, all buzzing with excitement. Anita stood at the back, heart racing as she watched Jake step up to the altar in his priestly attire. He looked calm, but there was a spark in his eyes as he glanced at her. When she walked down the aisle, it felt surreal. Jake's smile was warm and genuine, and she couldn't help but think about how their friendship had shaped her life in the past 3 years. As he began the ceremony, his voice resonated through the church. "We gather here to celebrate love, a beautiful bond that connects us all." He spoke with passion, reminding everyone of the importance of friendship and commitment. After exchanging vows, Mark and Anita turned to Jake, who beamed at them. "May your journey together be filled with love, laughter, and the support of those who care for you." When the ceremony concluded, Jake offered his congratulations. "I'm so happy for you both," he said, embracing them. "You deserve all the happiness in the world." As they walked out of the church, hand in hand, Anita glanced back at Jake, feeling grateful for the friendship that had brought them all together. In the small town they called home, love and friendship had intertwined in ways she could never have imagined. Subscribe for new uplifting tales every day, and let's spread positivity together.